It's all about the bread, they say. You can't get a Cuban sandwich right if you don't use the right bread. In Florida, homesick Cubans named it pan cubano, but it is also known as pan de agua, water bread, or pan de flauta, fluted bread, so called for its narrow shape and scored top. It is a simple bread made with four ingredients: water, salt, flour, and yeast, shaped into long, flat loaves, a palmetto leaf pressed lengthwise into its top to give its signature shape. This bread is meant to be eaten fresh the day it's baked. It doesn't travel well. You can't get it, they say, outside of Cuba and southern Florida, and you can't make a Cuban sandwich without it. But every so often, I need a Cuban sandwich. I need it, like I need air or water or the number of a good barber according to half the people I meet. So I roast the pork, marinating it, injecting it, basting it with mojo, that citrusy, garlicky, life-giving elixir, a panacea or so I imagine, against which no virus of the Caribbean can prevail. I slice the ham and the pickles, buy the Swiss cheese and mustard, and I bake some bread that, I hope, will pass muster, will be at least close to the pan cubano required to do this sandwich justice. But I've never been to Cuba. I've never been to Florida, even to Tampa, where Cubans migrated in the 19th century, drawn by jobs in the Cuban-owned cigar factories that sprang up in and around the area that would come to be known as Ybor City, after the man who brought these cigar factories there from Key West. Heck, I've never been to Key West, 90 miles from Cuba, as they say, where earlier Cubans had fled during the 10 Years' War. I've never been to Miami, where many displaced and exiled Cubans landed in the latter half of the 20th century. As a result, I've never, some might say, had a real Cuban sandwich. But what is a real Cuban sandwich anyway? Miami's Cubanos feature that garlic-fragrant roast pork with ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard. Tampa's add Genoa salami to the mix. Key West's Cubanos, I'm told, are prepared with mayonnaise, tomato, and lettuce, a variant I have yet to fully accept into my heart, or my stomach. All of them share a common ancestor that, unsurprisingly, originated in Cuba, the mixto, an early 20th century street food sold by the loncheros of Havana. In those days, after Cuba threw Spain out but let in the Americans, sandwiches were supreme. There was a belief among loncheros that while Cubans liked lechon in their sandwiches, Americans preferred ham. Most loncheros, though, stocked a variety of roasts and cold cuts, chickens and turkeys, beef tongues and sausages, and in the style of the Spanish bocadillo, served them one at a time in crusty rolls. The mixto changed that, though, combining the pork of the Cuban palate with the cured cold cuts of the American, along with cheese and pickles and mustard. There was no set recipe, really. A mixto was made at the intersection of the customer's imagination and the lonchero's inventory. Early published descriptions and recipes of the so-called Cuban sandwich described creations of chicken and bologna, foie gras. It was decades later and miles away, in Tampa and Miami and Key West, where the ingredients were formalized. So I eat my faux cubano, sometimes Tampa style with salami, sometimes Miami style without. One day, perhaps, I'll even bring myself to eat one Key West style. More importantly, though, one day I hope to eat one in Florida and discover whether the bread bias is based in truth.